there, welcome to Open for Business, CEO Style. This is the podcast where we fling open the doors to the world of business, doing it the CEO way. That means we're here for the women who hustle, the dreamers who build, and the leaders who are ready to rewrite the rule book. I'm your host, Toby Ferrel, and I am the owner and CEO of Toby Ferrel and Associates, and I'm here to be your guide, cheerleader, and your business bestie. So grab your coffee, your laptop, or your favorite pair of power sneakers, because in this corner of the internet, we're getting open for business, CEO style. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Open for Business, CEO Style. I'm your host, Toby Ferrel, certified entrepreneur and business coach. And with me today is a special friend of mine. We are in a mastermind together. Doesn't that sound fancy? We are in a mastermind together. We meet weekly to discuss our goals, dreams, and all of our problems, which we solve every week, of course.
Every week.
Every week. So please welcome Wendy Muzzy.
Yay. Guys, hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. So Wendy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do? Who is Wendy, right? But you don't have to get so deep.
Who is Wendy? That's always a really good question. I am a money mindset coach. I teach women how to transform their relationship with money so they can build and sustain wealth.
I love it. So tell me about your journey and what inspired you to become an expert in money mindset?
Such a good question. I will admit I had my struggles with money. I had a tumultuous relationship with money, probably from the day I exited my mother's womb. I struggled with it. It was never enough. I was fearful. I was anxious, all of the things. And one day I was having a conversation with someone I truly loved and respected. And she openly said, "Sounds like you're having some scarcity issues." And of course I got defensive. I do not have scarcity issues. What are you talking about?
Right.
Well, that started down the whole rabbit hole of what is scarcity. And it opened my eyes so much to where I was in that state of mind. I mean, I was filled with scarcity. And as soon as I could see it, I couldn't unsee it. So that's where I started.
Very cool. So, I mean, is there do you go to college for this? What kind of what do you do? What have you been through to become a money mindset expert and a coach?
Excellent question. I did do life coach training through Lumia. It's through a program. That was a very extensive 9-month program. In the midst of that, I also did training through the Money Coaching Institute. And so part of they have a curriculum and you learn all about money mindset, the different types of money mindset and different types of struggles that people have or challenges that people have. And then through that too, we also get our own coaching. So we go through the process while we're learning about the process. And it was just fascinating. And then of course, so many test clients and all of the things. So.
Yeah, no, I love it. So you talk about scarcity. You mentioned scarcity. Can you go a little deeper into what is scarcity? What does that mean?
It is the idea of limited resources. To put it very, very bluntly, it is putting things in a box. There's not enough money. There's not enough time. There's not enough clients even. As we think about business, scarcity sometimes can be the driver of some of our thoughts. And it's those limitations rather than abundance, which is the flip side of that. And it's the world of possibilities, the opportunities, the options that you have in front of you. So it's kind of very small versus very grand, and both sides of that coin.
Yeah, that I would imagine that scarcity could be very fearful. I mean, very fearing. I have fear about that. Especially, if somebody's living a paycheck to paycheck, they would experience that probably physically and definitely mentally. But there's, if there's a will, there's a way. And if you can think and you can change what you talk about is changing your relationship with money, there's a way to make that better for you, even in a paycheck to paycheck scenario, I would imagine.
Definitely. And so part of the work that we do is evaluate spending and evaluate how we use money and how we we make money, and to kind of see there's an option to bring in more money should you want. There's an option to spend less money should you want. You get to decide at the end of the day what it is, but making that equation and that balance as stable as possible, and removing the limitations from it, because it's hard to think about making money whenever we see it as so finite and so limited, rather than side hustles, starting our business, dreaming big. Dreaming big is one of my favorite things to do, because then you go into that grand space and rather than that limited space.
Right. No, I love dreaming big. Very cool. Well, thank you. So what are some common financial beliefs and patterns that you see among female entrepreneurs?
One of the first one that normally comes to mind and typically comes to mind is not seeing the value of their work. Quite simply,
Yep.
not charging for their work, undercharging for their work, or overworking and undercharging. So if you could see, I'm putting in more effort, so they like me, so they feel good about the work that I do, so they're not displeased. That all goes into our people pleasing.
Yeah.
Another one that's really interesting is fear of financial success. Like, what is my family going to think of me whenever I become successful? What are my friends going to think of me? Am I still going to fit in with the tribe?
Right.
Are they still going to like me? Are they still going to accept me? So that fear of success is a big one. Another one that I talk to people through often is that fear of debt. Oftentimes we see debt as negative. There's good debt, there is bad debt. Sometimes we have to put a little bit of debt into our business to build our business. So that's that idea. Avoidance. Avoidance is another really big one. They don't even want to think about it. They just close. Let's open up your bank account. Let's just see where you're starting. And they close the page, like absolute avoidance.
Wow.
And the final one that I struggled with was it had to be hard. It has to be hard to do this. I have to work hard. I have to work until the wee hours of the night. And it can actually be easy. It doesn't have to be all hard work all the time. So those are the primary ones that I see.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. That very insightful. And you talk about the last one where it could be hard. I mean, there are so many times where I'm coaching a client through something and solving a problem for them, or having them find the solution, right? Coach them into that mindset. As a business coach, that's what I do. I coach them into that mindset of finding the solution versus the, oh, woe is me, right? It's hard, it's too hard. Very, very similar beliefs of what you had just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come through the other end, they're like, that was it? that was it? Yeah, that's it. That's how easy it was. And so I think, we do that to ourselves in any situation where we make it harder. It's more difficult than we ever imagined. That the reality of it is not so bad, like getting the flu shot. No, it's going to hurt. No. And you're like, look away. Okay. We're done. What? Yeah. Great. Fantastic.
Well, the other part of that is whenever we leave our 9-to-5 job, which we have worked hard. I mean, I don't want to dismiss that. It's 9 to 5 with all of those things. And then we go to owning our business. We think that it has to be the same. And then the beautiful thing is we can start to see what it looks like. We can create our ideal day. We can create the job and the lifestyle that we want, not just the hard work and the checking the boxes that we've done.
To make a lifestyle for someone else and what they want.
Exactly.
Right. You're making it for yourself. One of the things that you mentioned was one of the struggles that you had. So tell me a moment in your entrepreneurial journey when you had to overcome a limiting mind belief that you had for your business.
I still think that's going to go back to the idea at the beginning. It had to be hard. I made my processes so difficult. Like I had to fill every minute of my workday in things. And then I actually could start to see the efficiency. I don't have to just do all this work because that's what I've done before. I want to do good work, period. Yeah. But I don't want to do hard work just because that's the idea that it has to be. So I think that's probably the most notable limiting belief I had to overcome. Owning my business is hard. It has to be hard. I have to work hard. That's not true.
And that's not true. That's not true at all. Is it going to be hard? Yes, especially if you're bootstrapping and you don't have any, your startup is limited, your startup funds are limited, it's going to be hard. But to do work, just to do work, which gains you no forward momentum and no traction, that is not smart.
All mind drama. I call that mind drama. I'm like, oh, mind, you are doing so good. Let's just go take a back seat and let's get back to where we need to go.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
that mind drama takes
right.
over.
I'm gonna make these charts over here just so I have them. You know, like
Yes, and no one's ever going to see them.
no one's
But
ever gonna see them. I'm never gonna use them, but I have charts.
yes, 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 so true.
Another one of the beliefs that you and patterns you had talked about was pricing their service and products, right? So how can female entrepreneurs ensure they are not underpricing their products and services due to money mindset issues? This is so critical in business.
That is critical. I think I call it the worth versus value perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever we think of worth, that's internal, that's within us. And I don't believe that's the best way we can go about pricing our services, because often we're going to be our own worst critic. It's the truth. Societally, how we've been socialized, we can go down 1,000 reasons why that's true. I think rather we need to take the value perspective. And the value perspective is that outsider's perspective as they're looking in. And this is the solution you're going to give them. Perhaps it might be based on market research, what other people have valued it. And it's also what people are willing to pay. And whenever we can take those components of value, not worth, but value to the table, we're able to truly look at a more objective pricing strategy as we're looking at pricing for our services. I wish often so many of my clients had the confidence that it took to be like, this is what I'm going to do and this is how it goes. That's often not the story that we go through. We have to kind of do some tests, some A/B tests. Let me try to charge this. Ooh, how did that feel? I didn't really like it. Let me try to charge something different and kind of get to what that equilibrium looks like. But there is so much in that perspective shift. We're not looking at it internally, we're looking at it externally as we're looking into the pricing model. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. And what do you say to somebody? We just had this on our call. To somebody who is instantly discounting, so discounting their prices. So as a business coach, I have a rule of thumb that if you're brand new, you shouldn't discount anything. You can't afford it, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you're also charging the full maximum price of your services because you have 10 years of experience. If this was in a coaching environment, right? I mean, in a coaching environment, I have stages based on my level of experience, and my prices go up as my experience grows. But I also don't necessarily advertise that they're discounted prices. So how does discounting affect this, in your opinion, and with the money mindset?
I think that's a really good question. I like to look at it as, what am I going to gain by this discount? So in this conversation, I do not ever think we should price and slash. We should never slash our prices. And by slash, I mean less, like more than 10, maybe
Yes.
15%. That anything less than that, take it off the table. But if you take 15% off of your price, what are you going to gain from that experience? Are you going to get confidence? Are you going to feel more assured in your next call? Are you going to learn a lesson? Are you going to get through perhaps a challenging consultation that you just have struggled with? Maybe you need a little boost. So there can be things that are not financially rewarding, but can be educationally advantageous.
Yes,
So that's
absolutely.
kind of the trade-off that I would challenge people to kind of ponder is,
Mm-hmm.
why am I doing it? And what am I going to gain from it? And if it's because I'm scared to ask what I'm
Worth?
valued at,
Yeah.
not worth, what I'm valued at.
Value. Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Worth, I'll give you worth, but am I scared to ask what I'm valued at? That's the issue. That's where you kind of need to do some deep diving. Am I just feeling a little insecure and I had a flub on my last consultation call and they didn't land it, and this is going to help me get to the finish line? Definitely do it. Like there's a little bit of push pull in that process.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That makes a world of a difference, especially the worth and the value, right? I mean, I know you had mentioned that earlier, but this is how that really plays out, is what does that look like? So moving on a little bit into a similar realm, but how do you help your clients identify their financial beliefs?
Oh, that is probably one of the most amazing parts of my job. I love it. We are infiltrated. I used that word already, but I'm going to use it again. We're infiltrated with money beliefs from day one. From
Yes.
day one, we have it from our parents, we have it from our siblings, from our friends, from our uncles, everything. And it honestly involves getting down to your money memories. Whenever I work one-on-one with a client, we'll go through a money bio, and it's year by year of their memories. Generally, it starts about year 5, your first money memory. And we talk about the feelings that are associated with that money memory. And we look for patterns. I love pattern searching. I like that. That is just what I could do for the rest of my life, is pattern searching.
That is super cool.
And you can generally see about 3 cycles of significant money belief patterns that have happened through someone's life. That's what happens whenever I work one-on-one. I'm actually developing a course, though, to help people walk through and do it by themselves. And then they can also have a session if they need to. But I think we're able as individuals to see our money patterns if we can really look at it objectively and kind of look at the 3,000-foot view rather than the head-on view. And you can see kind of where your money beliefs are falling into those patterns that are coming.
I've never thought of having a pattern of this. Like, never thought of what a pattern could look like. That is very, very neat. So is that like done in like one session, or is that like if you were having a one-to-one, I mean, is that like, how long does it take to find a pattern? Or is that, I mean, I'm assuming it's based on client, of course, right? And how they're willing to project and talk about their past.
A little bit of homework done at the beginning. So they send me a paper copy of their money plan. I review it before, and generally it's over 2 sessions. We typically get from birth to about age 18 in that first session. You know me, I can talk. I try really hard to kind of keep it focused, but it is absolutely fascinating. And you can actually see the moment where the client's like, oh my goodness. It's like an aha. I had someone who realized they didn't like to save. They were fearful of saving, and the pattern was based on their allowance they got as $1 whenever they were a child, and they never thought they were going to be able to save. And that was the continued belief they had till the time they were 40. I can't save. Even though their salary was significantly higher than $1 a week, they were still stuck in that belief system. And as soon as that was retrieved, you could see they were like, oh my gosh, I can save. And it changed their whole relationship of how they viewed saving money, which is a key fundamental part of money management.
Wow. Do you think that there's also this pattern, if you were to put your business through it, could you put your business through this and see kind of money patterns that you have in your business, or how you relate to your business, your financial business?
You're catching me thinking. Again, possibilities. Let's go to possibilities.
Possibilities.
I love that idea. I have not done it directly, because generally there's an individual who is managing the business that's part of that process. I could see trends in money. I wonder if it's more trends in sales that reflect their trends and how the money comes in, and then we get money.
That might be more for like a CPA or an accountant, but I like the trends thing, in my business mind, I like the trends. So I'm thinking, what are the trends, right? And I mean, I could see this in my profit and loss statements and what have you, in my sales figures, but to put that through the mindset piece, because I'm wondering, is it always true that your personal mindset and how you handle your own personal money, is that going to transfer over to how you run your business? I don't know.
I think if you don't clean it up, yes, it will, because we're human. I mean, we like to think so we're human. And I think we have to really clarify our relationship with money to get to a place of abundance. I think some people are born into abundance for multiple reasons. Their family had set them up for success, whatever. They were already worked through it in other ways. But I do think because individuals run business, their individual mindset is going to impact their business.
Yeah.
And you can have some bumpers up, like you can have a CPA who can help guide you in that process, but there's still going to be that push-pull if you don't get it cleaned up. Even if you won the lottery, like so many ways, we know people who have gotten tremendous amounts of money, and their money mindset did not set them up for success. And because of that, the money was gone just as fast as it came.
Yeah. That's very fearful. That is very fearful for them, for me. For as much as I want to win the lottery, I'm thinking like, yeah, that'll be gone in 3 minutes.
I want to give it to everybody, or I want to keep it tight, and then you don't put in the right
Right,
investment. Any
right,
number.
right. And then Uncle Sam's gonna want some. I don't know, but
Yeah, that's true too.
very cool, very cool. Well, I'm glad I was able to spur some, what can we do? How can we take this further, right? And that's me. I'm always thinking of the opportunities, just like you are. What are the opportunities?
Exactly.
So outside of understanding their history, right, their relationship with money, are there any other ways that you help them, or through the mapping, right? Are there any other ways that you help identify their financial beliefs, or is that pretty much the primary one?
That's the primary way. Things will come out through conversation. I enjoy talking about it, and someone told me the other day in a very beautiful way. They're like, "You're willing to get to the belly of the beast and really get down to the conversation." I think I have a unique way of really asking the questions to help pull out things a little bit further. I'm not going to say every single money belief is a specific event in your life on your money bio. I don't think that's the case, but through the conversation, things come through on the back end, and they can kind of start to see that. I'm also able to help them. I know some of the other trends in similar situations. So sometimes it helps to kind of have that previous experience to get them on the other
Right.
side. Not that I come in with any judgment, any ideas. It's just I've seen it play out in other ways. So that's
Right.
helpful.
No, that's where your expertise comes as a money mindset coach, is that, first of all, we always hold everybody, there's no bias, there's no judgment, there's nothing. It's very neutral. And the passion there that lies, that makes us coaches, is we have the passion for people to succeed in whatever it is that we're coaching. I mean, that's really the heart of everything that we do is, and you have the experience, and you've had previous clients that went down these similar rabbit holes, per se. Probably not the best term to use, but um
Similar path. Let's maybe
yeah,
the
down
dark. It's
the hole, right, down the path, right, along the path. Let's not put anybody down the rabbit hole. Let's just take them down the yellow brick road. Is fine. I'm okay with that. Probably better. But and so that's great that you have the ability to see those things, and to teach people and to coach them and have them realize these things for themselves. I just think that's an amazing talent that you have, and a talent, a skill, learned skill as well, and a proven skill, because you went and did it for yourself. I mean, that's volumes right there.
And it's so transformative. I mean, we all have to touch money. Everybody, if you're here, you're touching money. And I think we could all use a little bit of tweaking and unveiling of our money stories and our money beliefs. And there's also positive money beliefs. I want to make sure that that's clear, that not all beliefs are limiting. There's beliefs that are very positive. And part of the transitions that we do is we talk about the cognitive behavioral model, where we have thoughts that lead to feelings that lead to actions. And ultimately, we want our actions to set us up for success. So we start at the thoughts side of things to get them there. Sometimes we have to start at the behaviors and work backwards, but 95% of the time we start at the thoughts and work towards the behaviors. And so we start to shift some of those thoughts. Once we bring them to the surface and we understand saving $1 a week is not going to get me to get what I want to get in life, we can start to shift that and say, oh, I could save $10 a week if I wanted. I could save $100 a week, whatever it is, and start to shift that thought to get the behaviors to where we want it to be.
Right.
Not where they want it to be, because
They want, right. It's not about you, right?
Not mine.
It's where they want to be. No, I get it. And we take that. That's part of the level of passion, because you take them on, you take their feelings on, or you can, and I tend to. I mean, their success is my success, their failure is my failure. I mean, that's how I feel, and
Yes.
Whether that may be true or false, that's up to anybody who wants to believe those things. But that's the passion behind coaching, and that's part of what I love. That's what a part of what I love about coaching is seeing the people have that light bulb go off and get the results that they're looking for, that we are looking for, right?
I also do the royal we. I want that for full disclosure. It's really hard for me not to do the royal we,
Right.
because everything is we, but it's really I and them.
I and that, right? Exactly. What do you think is the biggest misconception about money that you think holds female entrepreneurs back from growing their wealth?
Initially I say the hard work piece, but that's probably because that's what I work through because it leads to burnout and exhaustion. I think also undervaluing. My value is determined on internally myself, but that's not it. It's really what people are willing to pay for your services. So it's kind of I'm kind of saying two things at once here. The hard work piece is definitely it, but it's also working on the undervaluing of our work and the contributions that we make to our clients. I think I'd put those two there.
Okay. Very cool. What advice would you give to those same women?
There's a couple things here. Really get in touch with your money beliefs, positive and negative. Really get in touch with them and identify the ones you don't want anymore that are no longer serving you, and find a way to change them. I have what I call the three C's model. It's catch it, challenge it, change it.
Ooh.
And sometimes whenever we challenge it, we don't need to change it. Maybe it's serving us and maybe it's benefiting us. So maybe you just keep it. But you have to start with catching it. It may be before you put your debit card. I'm notoriously bad about this for a new course. Whenever my debit card goes out, that's how I catch it. I'm like, what thought am I thinking right now? Is this serving me? Is this really where I want to go? And sometimes the answer is yes, it's serving me. I want this course. Sometimes it's nope. I feel like I need more expertise in copywriting. That was what I was in for a while.
Right.
And so you have to catch it, challenge it, change it. That's one of the big things. I also think we have to get comfortable with the numbers. We have to get comfortable saying our cost. We have to get comfortable with the numbers in our business because they're not about us. They're not self-worth. That's just net worth. We're going to put that in a different category. It's all out there. I had an exercise that I did at the workshop this summer. It was say your price to your partner. Here's my price. Here's my services. And then she's like, okay, add a 0 on it. So here's my price. Here's my service with 10 times the cost. Do it again now, 2 zeros to it. So 100 times the cost. And by the end of that exercise, you realize I am a daggone good value.
Right.
And I think that was part of the purpose of it, but I had to get comfortable with the numbers. I had to be in that space where I could say these numbers. And again, the 100 times the cost, I was like, I am going to say this with confidence because it is what it is. So that was a really, really nice piece.
I love that concept. I love the 3 C's as well that you had talked about. I love that. And you have to be confident with your numbers and knowing and in what you're saying. And once you're in business on my end, you have to be confident about knowing what your numbers are so that can you expand? Do you need to reduce your expenses? Where are you going? Do you have a goal? Do you have a plan? All these things. So it definitely works together, and especially in that mindset arena where you specialize in is just so important, because I think that really sets you off at the very beginning. It sets you off to everything else that you want to get through, right? To everything else that you want to get done as an entrepreneur, is that you have the confidence in your worth. Not value, in your worth, right?
No, you have the confidence in your value.
Oh, my values.
You're like, oh, I got it backwards.
Oh, I got it wrong. Jeez Louise. All right. So you have
value is what others think.
Value. You have your confidence in your value, confidence in your pricing, which equates into the value. And you have the confidence in speaking what you and holding true and saying, yes, this is what I'm charging. This is the dollar. This is what it is. And sets you to the moon. I mean, past the moon. It just sets you out. So I love it. I want to hear a little bit more about the 3 C's. So can you recap the 3 C's again?
It's catch it, challenge it, which I have a flow chart. In my course, there'll be the flow chart to go through your challenge, and then change it. And that moment you get to decide if you want to change it. This is often whenever we're ruminating on a thought. I should have done this. I could have done this. So whenever it's cycling, you catch it. And at that point, you can run it through the cycle. Or before behavior, it can also be even just a simple idea you have about money. Money, if I have money, I'm greedy. You can run it through. Does that benefit me? Is that helping me get to where I want to be? If the answer is no, then you need to find an alternate thought to replace it.
Love it. I love it. Need to practice that. Definitely. You started to say as you put down your debit card, I'm like, yep. My mother always tells me, you don't carry cash. I said, I don't carry cash. And she goes, you're going to be picked up for vagrancy. And I go, well, it's not 1945, but okay,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but that's also part of the whole money mindset is if you think that you have all the money, you don't know how much is left in your, listen, my math is poor when it comes to how much money is left in my account after I've gone shopping. And then I get that alert of under $100 left. I'm like, wait, I only bought 400 things. What does that mean? Yeah, no, math was my subject in high school, but clearly not subtraction from my checkbook balance.
Yes, we often overestimate we underestimate what we're spending, but we overestimate
the balance
to get from it. Yeah, either or.
Right. I thought I had more money than that. Why did this decline?
And I also want to suggest anyone who is just getting into money mindset, look at gratitude. There's a book called The Gap versus the Gain. It's how far we've come versus how far we have to go. But really look at what we have rather than what we don't have. And I think if we can stay in that space of gratitude, we can actually start to do those small incremental changes that really get us to that space of possibility and not limitation.
Yeah. I love gratitude and I love practicing gratitude. And it's a big player in everything that I do. It is. So Wendy and I were talking a little bit before we got onto our call today, and we were talking about the universe and what the universe holds for us. And so we're big believers of the universe, whether that be, a higher deity or your grandma like me, or just the universe in general, right? I mean, whatever shape that takes for you in your mind. But, we're of similar mindsets when it comes to you put it out there, it will come back. Always positive words. And gratitude is a must. I mean, gratitude is an absolute must. I have to say that.
I agree with you.
We're getting up on some time, so I want to look to wrap this up. But what role do networks play in helping women shift their money mindset and build successful businesses?
That is a great question. I think we've got to be mindful of who's in our circle. And I think part of that is we've got to make sure we surround ourselves with abundant thinkers. Granted, scarcity thoughts come in every once in a while. We're not here to dismiss those, but we need to be around people who see the possibilities, not the problems and limitations. And that's much of the work you said you do with your clients. It's surrounding ourselves with possibilities, not whompers.
Right, exactly. Right. It just reminds me of the Debbie Downer episodes from Saturday Night Live, right?
Yes. Yes. And I think there's so much growth in that process as we get around it. Even our loved ones, our best friends, if they're going to come in and naysay us, we need to put up some boundaries and make sure that we keep our possibilities forefront, not their limitations at the top of our mind. So that I think is the most important thing in our network is find people who can go expand, not constrict.
Right. Love it. So, so as we wrap up, how can people work with you, Wendy? I mean, how can we get your brilliance?
Thank you. I have a few one-on-one spots that I have available. This fall, I'm launching a course, Empowered Finances. It's going to be all about the key habits to get to break free from money worries. I'm also just down, if anyone wants to network, I'm down just to kind of build my network and see these wonderful business women in action, because that's my favorite thing ever. So they can go to my website, wendymuzzycoaching.com, or I do have a freebie, 6 mindset shifts they can do today. That's yourmoneymindsetcoach.com. I will be also launching a membership course in the new year, and that's joinmoneymavens.com. I clearly collect URLs, so let's just do that.
I love it. Money Mavens. I love it, darling. I love it.
Yeah. So
I tend to be a maven myself from New Jersey, who did not move to Boca, but I moved to the other side of the coast of Florida, so not to be near my people.
I love it. I love it. It's awesome. If they also, they can get on my email list at any of the sources as well. So
they definitely need to get on your email list. Hello, people, wake up.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Do it. All right. So super cool. So I will have all of that, all of Wendy's wonderful contact information and her freebie and her email list sign up and everything else that you ever needed to know about Wendy, that Wendy wants you to know about. Just kidding. But in any case, I will have that in the show notes so that everybody can click, sign up for Wendy's email, and sign up to work with Wendy, because Wendy is awesome. And listen, if you want to be successful, you got to work with Wendy, is what I have to say.
Toby, you stop it. You're awesome. I need to work with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, darling. See, this is what it's all about, is having fun, learning a few tips and tricks, and just having some good old girlfriend time. So, Wendy, thank you so much. This has been fabulous. And I hope you have a fantastic afternoon.
Thank you so much. You too, Toby.
Thank you. And that's a wrap for another episode of Open for Business CEO Style. We hope you've been inspired, motivated, and ready to conquer the business world. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity, and every dream is a business waiting to happen. If you love this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode packed with business brilliance. And while you're at it, give us a like, a share, and leave a comment. Your support means the world to me. Join my community of CEOs on Facebook, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep hustling, keep shining, and remember, you got this, girlfriend.